This week on the No More Late Fees podcast, we are joined by our pod pals from Bruh Meets World, TC and Ceej. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Happy to be here.
We're so excited for y'all to be here.
Just have to give a shout out to our friend Andrew, who absolutely loves your podcast and is very jealous that not only have we been able to be on yours, that now you're going to be on ours. So I had to give him a shout out because he's such a supporter of both of our shows. So hi, Andrew.
Love that.
Well, thank you. Shout out to Andrew. Hit us up. We love to interact with the fans.
Absolutely. I'm very hyped to be here.
It looks like the spotlight is casting a little crown on you.
I knew what I was doing. This thing was on purpose. And we're happy to be here. Absolutely.
This is my background even for my work calls. So
for those who cannot see, TC has a background of Nick Cannon.
Like
modern day Nick Cannon tile.
See, you should have had the hat thing he wears. What is that thing that the turban he was wearing?
Turban.
Now that's a look for him.
It is a choice.
T, what'd you call Nick Cannon fans?
Oh, cannonballs? Oh yeah, I'm a total cannonball, bro.
I love that for you.
If this is the first time that you're hearing about Bruh Meets World, I don't know where you guys been, but these wonderful gentlemen have a podcast where they go through episodes of I wanted to say Bruh Meets World, Boy Meets World, and give their very unique insight on the show, how it made them feel when they were growing up. And they add a little spice to a very white show.
We call it a melanated point of view.
I like that.
I love it.
Love it. And we love your show. If you guys are Boy Meets World fans, you definitely should check it out. And
especially because you guys did an episode with us.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, where you been? Because I know we've talked about it. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about like what made you start your podcast and why Boy Meets World?
Do you want me to go? Yeah. All right. So we started our podcast. First, T and I had been friends since high school, and we kind of always talked pop culture back and forth. We literally would send each other like videos just like individually on like whatever we thought was like the latest thing. And then when podcasting became a thing, like in 2015, we were like, we have to be doing this. And we tried out several different formats. I think it's funny because like so many podcasts now are like just versions of what we tried out earlier and just couldn't quite work out. But we did an episode recording of And Then There Was Sean,
which is a really special Boy Meets World episode. For those who don't know, that's like one of the most popular episodes of the show, and we did it as a one-off at first.
We did it as a one-off, and it just clicked, and we were like, this could be the show. And we both like just grew up like using Boy Meets World almost like as a blueprint of like friendships and like, you know, life lessons. And it was a comfort watch for so many years. And so we started rewatching it, and as we did, we were like, there's a lot of whiteness going on.
Well, there's a lot of toxic shit in it that we didn't realize as children and that we're coming to terms with as adults. And I think that's part of the thing that we're having fun with, is just kind of realizing like, oh, Corey's kind of a bad dude sometimes. And like, you know, kind of reanalyzing why we felt the way we did as kids about these characters that, you know, as an adult, we can see differently.
Yeah, but like, it's a matter of both the men, but then also how they treat women, how they deal with class, the fact that they're in Philadelphia and yet there's maybe one or two people of color like in like the 7 seasons until we get to Angela. So yeah, I think there was just so much to dissect, and we really were fortunate enough to like kind of get ahead of the curve before all of these rewatch podcast came out. And yeah, now we have like a presence, and we feel very honored.
And we also have a relationship with the cast who's invited us onto their podcast not once but twice. So, you know, we've got to meet them and hang out with them, and it's literally just been a dream come true.
It's the dream. Y'all are living the dream, I'll tell you that.
Living that dream.
And now I'm on this podcast hoping that as a cannonball, it will lead to me being friends with Nick Cannon.
Look, Nick Cannon is not I'm sure we can get you there. You need help getting there? We had one of the cast members of Drumline GQ on, and I'm sure he can get you there.
I had thoughts because when I saw that you had GQ on, and there are so many things about GQ specifically in this movie that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, I was well aware. I had a crush on GQ
As
when
you
this
should.
movie first
From
came
this
out.
movie or
Yeah.
On the Line?
From when this movie first came out. It was when this movie first came out, and yeah.
Yeah,
I love that you knew enough about On the Line to know that GQ is in it.
I don't mean to, startle anyone, but I've seen On the Line more times than I've seen Drumline. It's a Lance Bass, Joey Fatone rom-com. How could I know?
Right?
Oh boy. Sometimes I try to forget that I saw that movie multiple times.
The favorite.
It's something.
That and Spice World make a great combo movie night.
Oh, I love Spice World.
There's also another movie that like a bunch of them are in. What is it called, Jackie?
Long Shot?
Long Shot.
Which I have not seen. It has a
I
bunch of
haven't
like
seen Long
O-Town
Shot.
and C-Note guys in it.
O-Town people?
O-Town people. Yep.
We are from Orlando originally, so whenever anyone says O-Town, it's like we got to give it up for O-Town.
My 6th grade class took a field trip to House of Blues to be in their first performance of their show. So I go back.
You are OG O-Town fans.
OG O-Town.
So how long have you guys been friends?
High school.
2002, so like 21 years.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. I feel so old all of a sudden.
Right? Our friendship can buy beer.
Wow.
Ooh, I
That's
like
a good
that.
way to look good.
We always love, first of all, when we have other podcasts on, but we love when we can meet other people who've had long time friendships. So we've got you guys by 4 years, but
Oh,
yeah,
you know what?
but we're older, so there's that.
I want to say, like, it's something to aspire to, is what I heard.
I don't even know what anniversary we just had. What did we get? Aluminum paper? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. We got a trip to Universal
Studios.
Oh,
Hey,
that's a good.
I love that you guys are having friendship anniversary dates. All friends should do that. I don't know if we have an anniversary, but we should just make one up so we can do that.
We can do it, absolutely.
You should. We just use my sister as a litmus.
Barometer.
Yeah.
So one of the very first things, well, Danielle yelled at me, and then I was like, I have to be friends with her, or else she's going. It's a friend or an enemy situation, and
Yeah,
at
she
least
chose
I know she'll
wisely.
protect me.
Yeah.
And then, like the second day after she has decided we were friends, she's like, "My mom is pregnant." I'm like, "We're in 10th grade." My mom is pregnant.
And so my sister is literally the same age as our friendship. So we told my sister for her 25th birthday, we were going to Universal. It happened to be a month after her birthday, but it's also our friendship anniversary. So it all worked out.
That's
had fun.
There you
great.
go.
I love that. Yeah. That's a good way to find out.
What was your favorite ride at Universal? Just as a Floridian, I'm curious.
Oh, at
Studios
Universal?
or Islands of Adventure?
Which one?
You gotta tell us which
either
one's
one.
your favorite. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Islands of Adventure, Hulk all day.
Okay. Good
Ooh,
one.
yeah,
Good choice. Good choice.
I would have said Hulk, but the Hagrid ride we
Oh,
rode
you're
for the first time,
right.
it was so
Oh, it was
That
the
was
first time?
really
That's a good
good.
one.
so good.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
I forgot
Um,
about that one.
At Universal Studios, Escape from Gringotts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's my answer too, because I don't remember anything else at Universal.
We didn't do much there.
As a lifelong Universal Studios visitor, I used to love like the I Love Lucy museum and like
Me
the monster show that
too.
they used to do and like all
Yeah.
the like Halloween Horror Night stuff. That was always my favorite.
I liked the birds thing that they had, but they got rid of it.
The Hitchcock thing. Yeah, that
Alfred
was so
Hitchcock.
good.
Ooh, I changed my mind. I always loved the Mummy ride. It's
Oh, yeah,
really
I mean, it's a
good.
It's a good
really
one.
good one as well.
Yeah,
that was a
it-
really, really good one.
Even though
I
I
remember
lost
when that
my
was King
glasses
Kong.
once.
Yeah. I used to work at Universal when I was a
Really?
teenager for years. I worked from like the time I was 16 to 21. And we used to just treat Universal like our backyard, like just go on all the rides, do everything. So I have a very long history with Universal, and I'm confused now because like I haven't been as much as I used to go, but like I just have the memory of like what used to be there. Like, yeah.
Well, here's a little fun fact for those who live in Orlando. You can work at City Walk for 1 day a week, 1 day a month, and still have full access to all the parks, by the way, just in case you're curious.
Interesting. That's cool.
I did. I waited tables at Bubblegums maybe twice a
Of
month.
course you did.
And
you did.
just for
You
the
go to Red
access.
Coconut.
Of course.
Well, we
Yeah.
have a little game. It's this or that. This or that. I can speak. So Drumline, I feel like Drumline was a start of a very kind of, I don't know what the genre is, because it's not just dancing movies, and it's not just, it's just some. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the category some.
So
So we have some movies, and we're gonna see if which one you prefer, this or that.
Okay.
And Jackie got that.
I'm excited
with that.
So our first this or that is Drumline or Stomp the Yard.
Ooh. Ooh.
Honestly, I'm probably gonna go Drumline. For the cast, probably is like the main pull for me.
I'm gonna go
Even
Drumline because of the story. Like I feel like this is, I was like, oh, you are so both paint by numbers, but also good. Like it's a good paint by numbers movie. Everything from like the rebel who's just immature to the girlfriend who's just there for like 10 minutes total. You know, like like the teacher who's too much of a teacher, he's too highbrow, needs to be brought down a little bit. The competition, like all of the beats, I'm like, you're hitting all of them and you're doing it right. So yeah, I'm gonna go Drumline.
Next up, we got You've Got Served versus Step Up.
All right, I have an answer. Yep,
you got served.
Yep.
Your black card was, I was waiting.
Culturally, for the soundtrack, for the style, like I just.
Are we gonna? Go ahead.
I was gonna say it was a movement. It was part like, I know that like all of those Step Up movies had a following, and I think they were just culturally just different. And You Got Served. You know what's funny? I was watching a lot of interviews with Shameik Moore, who does the voice for Miles Morales in Spider-Verse, and every time they asked him what his favorite movie was, he said "You Got Served." I just thought that was really interesting.
He has said some off-color things, and we could talk about that off.
Sure.
Sure. But
you can't love nobody anymore.
Danielle always is like, oh, asterisk.
I always remember. I need to know what you're thinking.
Well, I feel that way about Marquise Houston.
Yeah. Kidnapper.
Asterisk for You Got Served.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say we're not gonna pretend like Sierra ain't due. Get up for Step Up. Step it up.
The problem is, I feel like You Got Served happened, right? And this happened in the 80s too. We had like a whole slew of like dance movies that were very authentic to the time and like the movement that was happening. And then studios got a hold of it and said, we're going to make more of these and take the flavor out of it, if you know what I mean. And that's all Step Up was like. And it just kept happening over and over. Like they just kept making more. And I was a part of the problem in a sense, because I really, really loved If You Think You Could Dance. What is that show? So You Think You Can Dance. And so much, there was like some sort of partnership with that, because Adam Shankman, who's like a producer, and I think he even
choreographed for So You Think You Could Dance.
Yes, but he was like a producer on Step Up, on the Step Up movies, and I think he might have even directed a few. So there was that connection. So I was seeing some of my favorite dancers, and they're like, and you won a chance to be a Step Up, so you know I had to go see the damn movie. But they were fun, but they were missing they were missing elements. You know what I mean? So
Are you talking about this one instance or all of Black entertainment?
well, now that you said it. Now that you said it.
So
yeah.
Our next one kind of is along the same lines. Save the Last Dance versus Honey.
Oh, Save the Last Dance. I like, no, hands down.
I'm gonna pass on both.
This.
Yes.
Nope.
Pass on both.
Empty. Like here, there. Like I gotta give you this. First of all, Save the Last Dance was one of my sister's favorite movies. Favorite movies. Now she is younger than me, but like that movie could come on at any time, any place, and she would stop everything and watch Save the Last Dance. Second of all, Save the Last Dance is one of those movies that's like a time capsule, and we really thought you was doing something. You swore that routine where she ends, again, like, but then also Kerry Washington,
yes,
as a single teen mother,
Bianca Lawson.
The cast is not the problem with that movie, guys. We all know what the problem with that movie is. It's pretending that Julia Stiles can dance. Like the whole movie is built around the fact that we have to pretend like she can dance.
Her final routine is honestly elementary at most.
I feel like this movie is a Mandela effect.
What?
Like
in what way?
Like we thought like that was a good routine, and then you go back and watch it and you're like,
I will say
this wasn't the routine I saw.
I never thought that routine was good. Now she has
Jessica Alba is a better dancer.
Yes.
But she's in a worse movie.
Yes.
Yes. And that's why if I am choosing Save the Last Dance, because it gave us it gave us a school with security systems, cross the track, white girl comes in, and she was like, you don't know what I can do. Oh my God, there's so much I can go on.
Well, then I will vote for Honey. Same thing, but Latina girl walks in.
Roll Bounds or ATL?
ATL.
Don't gotta think about that one.
That was off like just immediate.
No hesitation.
Then we have Feel the Noise or Step In the Movie.
I gotta be honest, I don't know that I've seen either of them.
These were scraping the bottom of the barrel.
All right, I don't feel so bad.
Okay.
And lastly, we have Jump In or Bring It On, All or Nothing.
I'm gonna go Bring It On, All or Nothing, but because I went to school, like my college was a huge cheerleading school, and they are in a lot of the sequels. Like a lot of my friends are in the sequels of the Bring It On movies. And to your point, I remember when they were filming, I think that movie at Universal, because they had like a little soundstage where they used to record all of the Bring It On movies. So yeah, I'm gonna go for loyalty.
I'll agree with you. I'll also choose Bring It On, All or Nothing, because especially when you get to the sequels, those movies get ridiculous in like the best way possible. And this movie in particular, this is the one with Solange and Hayden Panettiere, right?
The crumpin' scene.
Oh my God.
This is another one where
This
it's like,
movie
what were y'all doing?
Ridiculous, but it's so fun to watch.
I love my girl Kiki, and I love that they brought in Double Dutch to the masses in a Disney movie. But
100%.
It's that boy Corbin
Blue.
That boy.
Why did you talk about him like you massive?
Wow. What Corbin do to you?
Y'all have to remember we're a little bit older than you, so he was not my generation. He was not my Disney Channel. Okay.
Sure.
Here's the thing, he wasn't mine either, but we are close enough where
we were on the cusp.
I'm gonna keep it hush. Let me mind my
High School Musical came out our freshman year of college, just to put that in some perspective. Like we missed it, and because I feel like that movie was for middle schoolers, right? Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was still watching those Disney Channel movies, and I'm not ashamed.
Disney Channel used to have like really good movies. Like they were cultural moments, and High School Musical was one of those like, oh, this is a cultural event. You know what I mean? Like sometimes something comes out and everyone's just into it, and you're like, oh, you've hit the formula just right. it's not for me, but these people are gonna love it.
It's also a very well constructed just musical from just like a standpoint of just like the way the songs flow, the messages that come across. Like it's a very good musical.
I remember parts of the second one, but all I ever remember is the Zac Efron song.
Bet on it.
Bet on it.
My fave. That's the only thing worth watching in that movie is watching that asshole jump around the golf course with all his heart and soul.
Kenny Ortega was putting crack in that shit. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they all went to Palm Springs and did coke and just filmed the movie over a weekend. It feels like.
And I do love the character of Sharpay. I think Ashley Tisdale put her foot in it. For real. Too bad none of those are in our time frame, so we won't be doing it on this podcast.
Shucks.
I also feel like that movie just was at a time where they weren't brave enough just to say who Ryan was, even though we all know who Ryan was. They just was just like, oh, he just likes wearing pink and glitter. It's like,
right.
dude, like, come on.
Yeah, you're so right. It's specifically at the time, because I watch a lot of Gilmore Girls, and like 2007 is this year where things are very gay, but no one's identifying it as such.
Right.
And you look back and you're like, why are you playing with me? Why is he going on a date with a girl? Like, don't lie to me in my face.
Well, I have a question for all of us. So we are doing Drumline with you guys in this episode. So I wanted to know, you're a marching band director in the year 2002. Who's your surprise guest to join you in the field? And what throwback jam are you going to have the band play?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
You know, we actually had a conversation about this because we couldn't whittle it down. I think the one that I finally landed on was Missy Elliott, was my choice.
But which one? Oh, you mean as the guest? Sorry.
Yeah, as the guest. And I feel like there's a variety of Missy songs that you can incorporate into marching band numbers really well. You know, my other, I'll let Ceej go, but then I'll mention my honorable mentions at the end.
Yeah, so my choice, because he's right in the sense that I had a list and I was like, ooh, I gotta narrow it down. But my final selection was Outkast. Because I was like, can you imagine a drum rendition of Bombs Over Baghdad? Like,
I don't have to imagine it. My school played it when it was happening. And it's wonderful.
Exactly. That's my point. It's just like, I was like, oh, if we're talking 2002, this is right before Hey Ya. This is right, like, this is the perfect time to bring them out. Especially because it's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We just had to, yeah.
Honorable mentions, Luda, Busta, and even I feel like Lauryn Hill could have even been a possibility in 2000.
She wouldn't have been late.
Yeah, she wouldn't have shown. The game would have been over.
She would have been.
You guys took mine. With Ludacris would have been, because I'm thinking about that time period. Now I kind of think he's a trash human being, but back then, when those albums, sorry.
I'm just getting a list of people I can't anymore. But keep going.
But at
I've
that
seen
time,
him drive in space.
I can't go on another Fast and the Furious rant. Jackie will kill me. But yeah, during that time when I was in college, he was everything. When those albums dropped and we were in the South, it was.
Yes. I know to this day, What's Your Fantasy is one of my number one karaoke songs, because I can do it breath for breath. Not word for word, breath for breath. I know what I'm supposed to do, and it gets the party jumping. So
it was him, that song, freshman year, and Mystical. When I got to college, I remember I was walking and a boy said to me, "Girl, you got nice curves like icebergs." And I was like, "What?" And my friend's like, "You ain't heard of Mystical?" And I was like, "What's happening right now?" I have, but I never thought it would be something a man said to me out loud.
Sure. The Mystical, that's a good, I forgot about Mystical. And you know what? Now that you say
the controversy around him.
Yeah, there is.
A poster of Mystical in the dorm room. Is that who it?
Wow. I was going to say that, what's his face?
Petey Pablo?
Not Petey Pablo. Oh my gosh. God, Romeo.
Oh, Lil Romeo?
Oh, you're talking about Master P?
Master P would be a great one for 2002.
Yes. Also, I was very obsessed with Mr. Cheeks and that one song he had.
Oh yes.
Yes. Yeah. All great choices. And I think my throwback would definitely be anything from like the Coming to America soundtrack when they play.
Ooh.
Like my school plays that, and I always like something about it, especially with the drums. It comes out so good. Either that or Jackson 5. Anything Jackson 5 from the 70s would have been my choice.
You know what? I hear you on the Jackson 5. Michael Jackson's my all-time favorite. I actually would say the 80s Jackson stuff, like in this, like, Can You Feel It?
Yeah.
Like that stuff plays really well for marching bands as well. Like
That's
it just
true.
with the horns and everything, like it lends itself to it really well.
Thanks. Jackie?
I went with Eminem.
Okay.
As-
No, at the time-
2002.
That
He's the
he
biggest
was-
rapper in the planet.
8 Mile came out in November of 2002. So it's like the height of Eminem.
Mhm.
So I just thought that like that would get everyone moving. And then for my throwback jam, it's one of my favorite songs. It's Thunderstruck by AC/DC. It's like a
Ooh,
band
okay.
arrangement, a marching band arrangement with like choreograph like the lights and make it flash when thunder, I think we
Totally.
could make it a spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
All solid choices, guys. I like it. I like thinking about 2002. It was a good time. It was a good time.
It was
Now,
a scary time actually, but okay.
oh, right. You're right. I was in
We were
college.
like a nation wrapped in fear. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Making
was-
all
this is
decisions based
true.
out of fear.
I was protesting, doing sit-ins.
Danielle, were you also part of strike at that time?
I sure was. Student Tobacco Reform Initiative, Knowledge for Eternity.
I was part of Respect at that time.
What's respect?
Respect was the Save Yourself for Marriage.
Oh,
And it was the alternative, or I guess even like a partner to the sex ed situation. And again, it was very much like teaching kids to go in and respect themselves. It was very Christian
Teaching?
based.
I was gonna say this was open
Indoctrinating.
propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if you ever had like older kids come to your school as a freshman and scare you into sex, out of sex, but they would literally do these like theater performances where like a bunch of guys would take turns spitting in the cup and then offer it to you and be like, that's what it's like when you've had a girl who's been around. And I'm like,
What?
Jesus Christ. Like,
Absolutely.
it's wild shit. Like to reflect on it, it's like, oh wow, Florida is a different breed.
Florida was a different place. People got to understand. You think Florida crazy now?
We always
You don't
have
just
to.
turn crazy. You always been crazy.
Yeah, you're right. We were in South Florida. It was crazy, but just a different level.
Sure.
We had dare, but we didn't have no respect.
No.
Never.
That was your problem. No, I'm kidding. Both of them, to me, they're both programs I denounce like 100%, both
Sure.
dare and respect. But I was one of those like Christian kids who was raised to like be very proper and do all the right things. And all it took was like, I'm like 2-3 months in New York where I was like, oh, I've been doing it wrong.
So Danielle and I both worked at Blockbuster in the late 90s and early 2000s, and we got to recommend movies to customers. And so y'all each get 3 employee picks of what you would recommend between 95 and 2005.
So we had a discussion on this. Are these ones that are our favorites or ones that like you guys haven't done before? Because
Favorite.
Your favorites.
ooh, it's hard. I still don't like because I have my favorites, but you guys have done them already. And if I was going to do a employee pick, I would want something that maybe wasn't so.
It's up to you guys there.
Yeah.
Honestly, some people say a lot of the same ones. It's just whatever your heart desires.
We get some like out there. We're like, oh, okay.
Okay. I think I'm gonna stick with my fringe just so it's not like if anyone listens to our show, they know that I'm a huge fan of the Screen franchise. So that's not what I'm going to put. My 3 are going to be 1 Hour Photo, starring Robin Williams. You got to see Robin Williams in a serious role, and this is such a good one with a good idea. Cats Don't Dance, which is a fantastic animated movie that is right up there, like musically, it's right up there with like the Disney Renaissance, and like the songs are beautiful. And of course, they use animals as an allegory for racism, like you do. But it's a really well-made show from a studio that existed for literally like one movie.
Aww.
And then I think I'll do Bone Collector.
Ooh, that's
such a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why I chose it, because of that response. Bone Collector is one of those thrillers where I was a huge, like, I love a good thriller. And Bone Collector was kind of a response to Seven, where like everyone came out with like their version of Seven.
Yeah.
And Bone Collector stars Angelina Jolie, Queen Latifah, Denzel Washington, and it's just really good. Bone Collector, check it out. It's a good kind of what we would call now like an HBO late watch, you know? Those are my 3.
My 3, I mentioned this to you guys before the show, all happen to be from the year 1998. I don't know why, but I'm going to go Bug's Life as my first one. I think that was a really underrated Pixar movie when it came out at the time. And I think that like Pixar has created a pretty decent library of films in the last 30 years. And I still feel like it's one of the better movies, especially, I feel like lately they've kind of like lost a little bit of their magic. And so I've been returning to the early hits. And I just think Bug's Life is just a fantastic movie. It's also just like, fuck the man, like let's all rise up and just like take him down. Like there's twice as many ants, or what is it, there's 4 times as many ants as there are us, and as soon as they figure that out, our way of life is over. Fantastic. Yes. Like more of that, please. Number 2 is Enemy of the State, another movie that I feel like was really ahead of its time. It's Will Smith just being targeted by the government and them using just advanced surveillance for the time in 1998 to monitor him. And I love watching that movie and just thinking about like, well, what's this now? What is this in 2023?
T and I talk about this movie all the time because it predates the Patriot Act, and yet it's specifically talking about the Patriot Act. So it's so ahead of its time, and it's so accurate, and to live in the world that it was fearful of is just amazing.
I think they tell us stuff so that we prepare for it, so that we don't freak out when it happens. That's the whole point of the movies. That's how they get us.
That's creepy. That's chilling.
I don't think you're wrong.
Well, that changes Deep Blue Sea for me entirely. Not my third choice. My third choice is actually The Truman Show. I just think it's just a beautiful, wonderful movie that asks a lot of really deep questions. One of the things we talk about is how that movie was kind of ahead of the curve in terms of reality shows and what that does to cultures. Like, you have all of these people watching this man have this real life experience, even though he's kind of held prisoner by it, and yet they're all kind of captivated into it. So it's just really interesting, just the concepts that are talked about in that movie. So those are my 3. You have this kind of like anti-capitalism theme going out through all of them, but yeah, 1998.
I love both of your picks, all classics. I have not seen Cats Don't Dance, so I definitely have to add that to.
Add it.
Well, we're gonna have to do it eventually, so definitely
I'll add it
do
to the spreadsheet.
So why don't you guys tell everybody where they can find you on social, so they can listen and get to know you guys?
Sure, absolutely. We are at Meets World. We are on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, pretty much all the socials that you can think of. We also have a Discord page where people can go and talk about Boy Meets World stuff. And we also are on all the podcasting platforms.
Awesome. And at this point, if y'all ain't following us on social, I don't know what to say. It's at No More Late Fees, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Find us, follow, enjoy, and stay tuned for our Drumline episode with TC and Ceej later this week.
And as always, be kind and rewind.